So today we're going to do a quick review of something that you use for exercising. It's a gyro ball. So this uses a gyro to spin in your hand, and you hold it and it strengthens your wrist, your forearm, your fingers, and so on. So I'm starting off with taking it apart. Why did I do that? Well, I'm looking at the first one here. I have two that I'm going to review, but this one vibrates a lot and it's pretty noisy. So I decided, since it's threaded, I'll just take it apart. And look, we have these plastic inserts in here. So I'm going to clean those with an industrial strength silicone lubricant. But I just thought it would be interesting to share with you what these look like when you take them apart. The housing is aluminum. Now this looks like a strong plastic, maybe a nylon, not sure. But this is what holds the metal part that spins and creates the gyroscopic effect, which the higher the RPMs go, the more resistance it generates, and therefore the better workout you're going to get with your wrist. If you do this at low RPMs, for example, I guess it's good for rehab for those who have weaknesses in their wrist. Maybe they do a lot of typing, a lot of keyboard work. These gyros help out a lot, but I was looking for a really heavy one. That's why I bought this particular gyro ball. But the threads are rough. The edges on this thing, you can see, are not super smooth. Look at the interior here of the other half of the housing. Plus there's another plastic insert there that the gyro ball rides on, and then below that is a white gasket, and that seems like it might be made out of silicone. So I'm using micro mist, super dry silicone spray. I spray it onto cotton Q-tips and then I rub it on that way. I've had this stuff for a long time. I don't know where you can get it, if at all, anymore, but it's safe for plastic, metal, and all surfaces. So that's why I'm using it here. And again, I don't spray the gyro itself. I just wet the Q-tip and rub down all the surfaces and clean it up. So there again, the housing's aluminum. You also want to make sure to put these parts all back together correctly. If you put this in upside down, for example, the wind up to start it won't work. It goes one way. So before you reassemble everything, when you put it back in the lower half there, go ahead and try the spring-loaded wind up to make sure you have it right. If not, flip it over and you'll fix it. Look at the dirt I'm getting here. I haven't had this for very long. Less than a week, actually. But yeah, there you go. Quite a bit of dirt on that Q-tip there. So I did both sides, all the seating surfaces, and we're going to put it back together. By the way, if you notice, look at the thread on these things. Really rough. Really grabs at it. The interior surface here also very rough. No reason, I suppose, to put a shiny surface on it. It's the inside, not the outside. But I think it's an advantage to be able to take it apart if you ever need to clean it, things like that. So I'm going to put that, what appears to be a silicone gasket, in first. Put the hard plastic ring in next. And there is a sharp lip on one side, and it's rounded on the back side. So make sure that that sharp lip is up when you're putting it into your hemisphere there. See the top? See that edge? Because your gyro ball is going to seat on that. So I'm going to put that in there, and remember, as I mentioned before, do a little wind-up test with the direction of the arrows just to make sure. Also put both pieces, both guides, inside the one side that's solid before putting the top on. As you noticed, it just fell out if you do it the other way. So here's your time to test it, make sure everything moves well, that it's seated right, and test the wind-up aspect of it. We're going to put this thing back together, and we're going to put the rubber gasket back on. But listen to the threads. Yoy, not very good quality, but then again, this thing didn't cost very much. It's not the one I wanted either. I wanted another one from another company, but I'm going to show you that other company in the second half of this video. So let me put the gasket back on, because that's what gives you your grip on the ball. Does a little shock absorbing, and by the way, this thing vibrates quite a bit. And cleaning it up with silicone and lubricating the axle and so on definitely smoothed things out and made it a little quieter, but it's got quite a bit of vibration in it. So you move it with your thumbs in the direction of the arrow until you feel a good resistance. Then you'll be able to let it go and it will spin. And this is just to get it started, by the way. I think some people think it's just supposed to spin and that is the exercise, but no. You have to rotate your wrist around, you'll get a feel for it, and you speed up the RPMs. Now, according to their instructions, if you can get this thing up to 9,000 RPMs, this would have 40 pounds of torque resistance. I don't know if you can get it up to 9,000 RPMs, but anyway, I opened it back up again because I wanted to lubricate the actual axles inside. I forgot to do that, so I went back in, and we'll take a second look. And there you see also the little spring that is for the starter. Now, look how smooth it runs. By the way, after I lubricated the axle, took it apart, lubricated all the edges and everything, it actually spins on its own for twice as long as it did before. So lubricating it does work. I'm also glad that you can take it apart if you ever need to clean it or something, because we do have an open lip around here. Stuff could get in it. I don't know. It comes with its own case. You can keep it zipped up and protected from dust and dirt, but at least you know you can take it apart. And look how long it spins. All I did was use the starter motor for this part, and I just wanted to see how long it would continue going. Before I lubricated it, it would have stopped already. Plus, as I mentioned before, there is some vibration that you feel through it that other companies don't have. So this is the Gyro Ball company, and I'm going to compare it to the NSDS, the NSD spinner. So this is a Gyro Ball, 1 minute, 1 healthy hand. So NSD spinners have 1 minute, 1 powerful hand. So anyway, this is their lighter weight one. So even if you get your RPMs up on this one, get it up to say 10,000 RPMs, if you have that ability, you're going to get it to a torque resistance of 26.9 pounds. So that's okay, but I like the heavier, stronger torque. This one comes with a string instead of a wind-up spring. You put that string in the little hole there, you load it on the groove, get the string all wound up in it. They give you 2 strings just in case you lose one or break it or something. Then you hold it, put tension on it, pull it, and now it's spinning. Now listen, you get these RPMs up, and remember, the higher the RPMs, the stronger the torque, the heavier the workout. So if you're just trying to rehab some sore carpal tunnels or whatever your issues are, you don't have to get the RPMs way up. You can use low speeds. If you play baseball or something, you can hold it in your fingers, listen to it rev up. That's what you want to hear. This, by the way, feels much better than the Gyro Ball company. The balance is natural. You can hold it in your hand, hold it on your fingertips, and very little movement eventually, once you get the hang of it, will rev the RPMs up. So it says 1 minute. I walk around with this, rev it up every time I walk through the kitchen, for example. And you want to do it on both hands. So it'll strengthen your grip, your fingers, and of course those muscles are in your forearm. And it moves the resistance in every direction. So I really don't know any other exercise that does that. So these are really good. I'm happy with them. I did want to buy the NSD Spinners Titan version, which is the one they claim will get you up to 50 pounds of torque resistance. It's out of stock. Couldn't get it. So the NSDS spinner is my favorite. The other one's doing okay too, the Gyro Ball company, but it is noisier. I see some quality issues that are not present in the NSDS version. So, and NSD also sells a metal version too. They're not very expensive. If you get the ones that have the counters and they show your RPMs for you, or they're electric motors, they get exponentially more expensive. So they're really up there. It's only about 2.7 inches in diameter, the Gyro Ball is, and it's 2.1 inches tall. So these are small, they fit in your hand. Feel the vibration there. And the other one's about the same. Now you can't really take that one apart. So that's it. I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for watching.